Yeah.
That's crazy.
Number 2 pastel, number 2. That's for the camera. I haven't seen anybody else present that. I don't even know where I came across it, but I was just got curious myself and started researching. And
I've never heard that.
It makes all the sense in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, that's like understanding what
Right.
it is you're
Tell
working
me
with.
why, right?
Right.
I mean, I've always heard everybody go light, you'll lose the, you'll lose the luminosity of it, and I'm like, okay, what does that
but
mean?
Well,
why?
right, like once you understand why, then you
Yeah.
also
Exactly.
understand,
Exactly.
like, oh, don't keep rubbing everything in.
Yeah. And if you overspray, that's going to weight that down and push it down. And
Oh, yeah.
but I will, in your very beginning layers, it is okay to do that. That's if you have a white paper, and we talked before about a color shining through, it was the black paper, but it can be any color. You can start with blue, or green, or let me see, I'm gonna start with that. So say I want, gray is dull. I don't really want to start with gray. Thinking, relaxing. That's what I need to do sometimes. I'm going to start with this. So I can very quickly lay in a lot of color this way. And if you want, you can vary it slightly as well, just to make it a little more interesting. Right? Put it on there. You can blend with your hand. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at this little tree and house up here, because you know how happy I am with them. So you can blend it in this way, and a friend of mine does this a lot. Depending on the paper you use, my poor granddaughter did this once, and we were on a pretty rough paper, and she wore down her, her fingerprints. Or you can lightly spray it. If you don't want that to move, you can spray it with the alcohol to set that in. And with your underlayers, these are the, okay, now we know what this is doing to the pastel, right? It's taking those beautiful particles and flattening them down. But in a sense, it's almost staining the paper. So your paper becomes a toned paper. And then anything you paint on top of this, these colors will shine through, and it will help to unite your painting.
So can you give an example of that? Of like, okay, put something on top of it.
Yes, when it's dry.
Oh, yes. Wait till it dries. Okay.
Wait till it dries.
Good.
But if you have a piece, go ahead and try it. I'm going to kind of work with this one. So, but I hope that the videos help to cover any gaps I might go through. Let me back up a little bit while this is drying. Color charts. This is not in color. I'm at a place where I don't have a color printer right now. Any questions about these aspects of color when we're talking about your primary, your secondary, your tertiary colors? Let me know if you don't understand them. Okay, you're good. You look like this. Analogous colors are the colors that are near each other on the color wheel.
They're friends.
They're friends and family, right? That's what I say. They're the friend colors. So any grouping in a similar area, that's your analogous. Your complementary colors are the ones directly across. And theoretically, you get those by, if you have your 3 primaries, red, yellow, and blue, and you combine, you take one as the primary color, combine the other 2, you will get your complement. So the red complement is the combination of yellow and blue, which is green, red and green. That is a pigmentary complement. I often work with optic complements, just for fun. It's working with light instead of color and trying to translate that into pigment. Because the primary colors in light are cyan, magenta, and like chartreuse. And when you combine all the colors in light, you get white light. But if you take all the colors in pigment, theoretically, you're supposed to get black. You get a muddy brown, but you're supposed to get black. So they're kind of opposite. That's a little, there's so many things out there to do. The 2 main uses of your complementary colors are to intensify. if you put, I'm going to put one down here because I can do this. Okay. If I want to intensify this blue, I can add the complement beside it. That's too deep. I want something brighter. And by putting that orange beside that blue, it is going to make it seem more blue. Where if I add an analogous color beside it, let's say this teal. So here you can see the blue, and that's very soft and pleasing, and that's what analogous colors will do for you. Where if you go this way, it becomes much more vibrant and exciting, like spice. That's the first, not the first, but that's one aspect of complementary colors, is to intensify the color. The other is to neutralize the color, as you did in your bird paintings. So if I had the blue and I put that orange over it, just very lightly skimming across, squint down, it becomes almost a gray. I like leaving the colors sparkling through, so in our brains they blend, but not here. You can, if you want though, go ahead and blend it, and you can see it becomes much more gray, and that's just adding one other color. That's just two colors, they're the complements. Another aspect of color is, what was I going to say? Oh, comparison. Here's a blue. Is this going to mess? I don't care if it messes up my painting. Here's blue, a nice blue. If we compare it to this bluish green, it makes the bluish green look warm. Within each color on the color wheel, if we start with a pure green, if you go to the cool side, it's a cool green, it has more blue in it. If it goes to the yellow side, it's warmer. So we have three greens, and a lot depends on what it is in relationship to. So here we have that nice teal. We put it in relationship, get rid of this, with this blue, and look how warm it looks. Because this can be either, you can call this either blue or you can call it green. It's a blue-green. How are we going to make it look more blue?
It's yellow or warmer. Interesting.
Yeah. Wow, that's a really bright green. Let me find something a little more neutral on that. I'm going to combine these. So this is a warm green. And now we can compare. Don't blow on your pastel. There, the teal looks warm, and here, this teal looks cool compared to that. It's all the relationships. Very simple. Very simple. And then we get that into our heads. Warm color, cool color. Down at the base I have warm and cool. For instance, cadmium red. This is a warm red, where if you have something like a magenta, it's a cool red. Right? So within each family of color, each hue, you have variety. A cool yellow and a warm yellow. Look how this one beside this almost looks greenish.
Mm-hmm.
But if I put this beside green, it definitely looks more yellow. So understanding some of these comparisons and how color works is really going to help. Kind of went off on a tangent there, but I wanted to explain this chart.
Yeah, that's good.
Should have done that last week, but that's okay. So let's, if you'd like to follow along, I can go through step by step. You can leave it rough like that. You can blend it. You can wet it down. I mean, it's still lifting up some pastel here, but it won't pick up on colors as much. I'll show an example. What I mean by that is if I take, here's a white. If I take this white and drag it on this blue purple, see, because I washed it with alcohol, it's not picking up color. That has set that as a stain into the paper to set that. Do you want to come over this way, Kathy, or you good? Is not good. I have older.
So you might not want to sit there.
I think this is the dollar store tip. Is that
Yeah, no, I think
No, that
this
looks
is good.
okay. Yeah, I've decided I'm just going to go back to Scotch and buy Scotch masking tape
Oh, yeah.
because the dollar store. This
Yeah,
is Scotch.
shredding.
I have no idea how old this is, and it still comes off fine. Stop being. I bought that cheaper tape because I was buying for a whole class and just to have something on hand.
Yeah.
So, oh, and okay, here's the white. The white on the stain is not picking up on my pastel, but if I come down over this, look how much pastel gets.
Yeah.
Because it's not been set. That is one advantage of doing an underpainting or an understaining. So you can either do your stain by rubbing with your hand or setting it with water or alcohol. Again, for the video, the alcohol dries faster. That's why I use it. I'll tell you, during COVID, I was very disappointed because you couldn't find 91% alcohol anywhere.
Oh,
Dude,
you're right, yeah.
COVID, it just
makes sense.
disappeared.
It did.
And we were trying to, like, how are we going to sterilize everything? And
Yeah.
I said, oh, vodka. But vodka, what's the highest? Highest vodka, even rum, 151 rum, what is that? 75% alcohol?
yeah.
It's not strong enough. If you need something
You need moonshine.
you need moonshine.
Moonshine, there you go.
If you're in Europe, they make an alcohol that's like 99%. I think, or 90%, because a friend of mine made some crema de limoncello in Italy. It was her grandmother's recipe.
Yeah.
And she put that 90% alcohol in there. Whoa. But it wasn't isopropyl alcohol, of course. There's different types of alcohol. This is just isopropyl, which is the medicinal. See, now I'm trying to blend those colors that I put on there. If you find there's too much color and you don't want it quite thick, you can just do a quick swipe of your rag. And this is an underpainting, so it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to be painting over it. And you two are doing what you want. Awesome. And you're keeping up and listening. Kathy, you with me? Okay.
I'm trying to do what you're doing.
But
I'm not, I didn't.
what image are you going to work with?
Oh, I don't have an image put down. Oh, they're just so old, I think.
Okay, because somebody else told me last night in that pickup class I did that their Rembrandts were breaking. I'm like,
Yeah,
your Rembrandts?
I think I've had them like 30 years. That's my favorite color.
Yum.
Okay, I don't have a picture, and I guess I'll work with this.
Now already, because I just randomly put on these colors, this is kind of going to dictate the feeling that I have toward this painting. You know, it's not going to be a stormy, foggy day like I've done with my little tree and stuff before. It's going to be more of a bright, interesting day. I'm trying to see. These two houses, you can't see if you have this little picture though. No, you don't. This is a little yellow cottage here on Higgins Beach, and behind it is a big blue one. Both of those got damaged in those storms in January up in Maine. They lost their big front windows. I mean, the high tide usually stops about 20 feet away from the houses, and it was undermining their foundations and everything. It was, wow, estimate. School, international. And she blends with her hand, that's all she does. She does everything dry. She never I don't think she uses alcohol or wets it or anything. Does beautiful paintings, lots of flowers, soft blended backgrounds, and then the flowers and things are just bold stripes. She uses, I have it here. She almost exclusively, she uses this pastel mat. I've been playing with this because I actually won some as an award, and I found that it has these, like somebody took a comb over it and has lines down through it, and I don't know why.
It's a funky, it's a mistake versus, because I don't have that on mine.
You have, okay,
I don't have that on mine.
but I had a couple
I
pads
heard
and
a
both
lot of
pads were doing,
people-
yeah.
I've heard a lot of people have
So
that,
they're like,
I
well,
haven't-
go and return it, and I'm like,
Yeah, well, that's kind of a pain.
yes.
Do you think this paper, which is the mystery paper, this mystery black, that I had last time, do you think that can handle the alcohol?
I would not.
Okay, all right,
I think it's Canson Ingres, INGRES, I think.
okay,
It's more of a drawing paper,
okay.
so I'd be careful. This Mi-Tinte pastel paper, I worked with this for years. I have wet this down, but I tape it tight all around the edges like paper. Have a light touch to it because it is just a thinner, a bit of it's not too thin, but it's a thinner drawing paper like that.
Okay,
You can. I don't remember trying it on that.
yeah, that's okay, I'll try it on that.
And also what I've done with this is because the surface is so smooth is I've taped it down. I always use the back side, and I added some pumice gel on the surface to give it a nice tooth. So it becomes like a sanded paper.
What was that brand of pumice gel you mentioned?
Golden.
Golden pumice gel.
Are we dry?
And did you send the name of that cream that you get on Amazon for protecting your hands? What was that one?
This is Winsor Newton Art Guard. And you can see it lasts quite a while. I mean, I've had it for like at least 3 classes now, multiple people, not that much has been used.
Yeah.
I do use that clear shield, but this is less expensive, and I think it ends up, does your hands feel fine? Like
Yeah,
there's nothing
yeah.
in there?
Yeah, yeah.
So I might be switching to this because it's a lot cheaper.
Would any lotion work, you think?
No.
No.
This is a barrier cream.
Okay.
I know with the clear sheet, they do experiments and they put mild acids in the person's hand after that would actually kind of burn the skin, and it doesn't because it protects it.
Oh, wow.
So it is a barrier cream.
Oh.
Lotion, regular lotion just might make the pastel stick even more. Because this is like a extra layer of skin microscopically between you and whatever's on your hands, it washes off quickly and easily. It's nice. Okay. Is it, sorry, let me,
You're gonna waste your fingers.
I know.
Fingerprints too.
yeah. Is it working okay? Yeah, you don't, there's no, but this is not a sanded paper, it's a
Oh.
smooth paper. So it's
Oh,
harder
and it's
to-
not blending
It's
as well.
not blending as
Try
well.
more pastel.
More pastel, okay.
If you have sprayed it with alcohol or something, just lightly touch it with the back of your hand to see if it's still cool, then it still has moisture in it. And the reason we know why we use the back of our hand, because we get pastel all over the front. Now I've drawn this image a number of times. I would, if it were the first time I'm doing it, do a number of sketches to become familiar with the image. You don't have it. Do you have a photo of it?
I guess I can bring it up on my phone. Yeah, you got it memorized.
Yeah. Oh, that's an idea, yeah. Oh, she's got hers out already. Catherine's got it. Take it.
Oh, I'm just getting my.
Oh, wait,
I got it
actually-
from you.
Yeah.
I know, it just made me
That's
laugh.
funny.
A friend of mine sent it to me.
It's
Like,
tricky
oh.
to do, but it has to be whimsical, you know, when you
Right.
do it, so.
That's why I thought, you know.
It'd be
It
fun.
could be silly and, right, still be okay. Where are those pictures?
Yeah,
in the
that worked out
email?
good.
In the email, came out good? Okay.
Yeah.
Photo references, okay. Just,
Yes, yeah,
and you're doing this one?
that one.
Okay.
Aren't devices wonderful things? They're also a pain in the butt. but they're good. Yeah, we were at the spa yesterday and you can't take your phone in.
Oh,
Yeah.
And my
Hey,
daughter
would you
was,
come- They're letting locals back in to the spa?
my daughter works there.
Oh,
Take your,
oh, that's awful.
But I didn't, she had a treatment because they test them, when new people come in, they have to test them, you know, so she had to critique the person that was giving her the facial. I'm like, I need the facial. She says, no, I do, I'm gonna be 40. I'm like, I'm gonna be older than that. And so I spent the day in the pools and the hot tubs and the saunas
they're
and
not letting people in?
Local people, no, and I have so,
Really?
no. Mm-mm.
So just,
For years now,
it's just
Since
members
the-
or
you
nobody?
have to be staying there.
yeah, people that
The girl-
stay at the inn.
oh my gosh.
Cause they used to, remember, if you had one thing, you could go get a pedicure or a
Yeah.
mani and you could spend the whole day there, but now. I know.
Yeah.
I think they stopped it even before COVID, but I think they just were so
Overwhelmed
overwhelmed by the locals that.
Yeah.
Because I remember that people saying, oh, just go and get your brows done. You can spend the day in the pool and the saunas and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No, but these, like the facial my daughter had, it's like a $300 facial.
Oh,
Amazing.
Nice.
But the people doing it do not get that money.
No.
No.
And I think a lot of people think that and don't really leave a tip. And they really rely on tips. They get a small hourly wage and then tips.
Oh, gee.
And people,
they
if
get
you're
the
paying
$300
$300 for a massage, you think like, oh, that person's making tons of money. Well, they're not,
Oh,
you know?
Mhm.
Okay,
good to know.
sorry, I'm gonna cut that whole. So we're dry now. And if you're comfortable with the sketch, if you want to do a quick sketch of this so you're comfortable, again, I know it, or you can just follow kind of along with me. I kind of like this. So now I want to think, this is going to be bright, it's going to be sunrise or sunset kind of thing. I'm going to start with the buildings in the background. I want to try to stay in this color scheme. What would we say? Is this basically cool or warm?
Warm.
Cool.
And we all perceive color differently. We do. I would go with cool,
I'm okay.
but that's all right. If you want it as warm.
Those are your warm colors.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
because your green is quite warm. Your blues are cool,
Uh-huh.
but you can go ahead and push that into the warm feeling. So I'm thinking cool, hazy. So I want my house in the distance to be lighter. When you think values from dark to light, to push something back, you can even see in the photo, it's softer than the tree. I like this photo because it's very simplified, right? There's more depth and contrast in the tree. It's darker. So we want to push that back. And would I use, I'm looking at my colors. Don't forget you have all of these colors over here, folks. Move these closer to you. I dropped a palette for the first time the other night.
Oh.
It was a pan pastel palette, and it just went all over the floor, but luckily none of them fell apart and crumbled.
Wow.
I had a little pieces off and it cleaned up okay, but if I had dropped a box, I would have had things everywhere. It's the first time I've ever dropped. So I need to decide, do I want what blue do I want to push this house back into the background? So we're thinking about these things. If I'm going toward my cooler composition, and I want to stay in the cools because that will help keep the painting holding together in relationship to, I'd probably go with this. You think?
Push it back.
That's going to kind of push it back in the atmosphere. And now holding that up, I think it's a little dark. You think it's a little dark? What if I go a little bit lighter? Now you might not have that option in your set. This one's a little bit lighter. I'm going to go with this. And I'm just going to quickly sketch in. Can you see okay? This is,
Yes.
my head is always in the way, I know that. So here's the roof, and I just want the shape. I'm not thinking house, I'm just thinking shape. So it's a little bit in perspective. I'm going to tilt it down a little bit this way, and I'm holding the edge of my pastel against the paper, tilt it down, and I'm just going to bring it down this way, because that's kind of that roof as it goes in the distance. Here's the edge of the roof coming down, side of the building, the other side of the roof coming down. So see, with a very few strokes, I can get the sense of a house sitting back there. I want to clarify the peak of the roof here a little bit.
What's she looking at? Where's the house?
Where is it? What house? I don't
Can't
see
see from back here. I'm blind.
Well, yeah, and you're at an angle there. So I'm going to add the other, there's another little shed over here. I'm just going to vary it a little bit. I think my light is coming from behind and glowing this way, so there'd be kind of a shadow on this side of the house. So by just laying that over,
Yeah, that's much.
you can give it a little three-dimensionality without it becoming overwhelming to the whole painting, because I want the tree to be what's important in this. Again, I would have sketched out a number of sketches, small little thumbnails, tried out my values, see what works. You can also do thumbnails with color to see what colors you want to work. I'm going to let that kind of fuzz out there because it's in the mist. Nice and easy.
Okay, so you do
So if you want to kind of get that. That is really, really deep, Catherine. That is,
Yeah, it's too dark.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's a couple things. This is your damp paper towel.
Yeah.
You can just take this out
Yeah.
and just
Brush it off.
brush some off.
Oh, okay.
And then tap it so it falls. Are you limited in your cut? Yeah. Okay. Right here. Look. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
There's up to these.
Don't mind me. I can't.
No, he's gonna love
I
it.
can't help it.
That flight. No, he's gonna have
Like
so much fun.
Sort of in a moment now.
I like, look how that color's shining through, that just the paper. You know, so it's not a solid color.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna rub this in and then
Do
spray
some
it
more.
and then add it
Okay.
so that I don't.
You don't always have to spray. Sometimes you can, if you still have a good amount of tooth on the paper, it will still pick it up.
Yeah, I'm thinking too.
Nice. What kind is that?
It's just sandpaper.
Oh, it's a sandpaper. Okay. That stuff's pretty good considering.
Yeah,
I don't believe it's archival, but because it's a wet dry, it holds up quite well.
I washed one off yesterday. It's amazing. It's my favorite thing. It's like, goodbye.
That's
When
not
everything
this too.
doesn't feel permanent, it helps you be free, right? It's like,
Yes.
this can work or not.
If it didn't work out, you just wash it off.
Yeah.
I'm going to use a lighter blue here and add some mist around that house, kind of. I'm not following exactly the photograph. I am just using it as a taking off place. I'm already a little disappointed in my drawing because my horizon's right in the middle of the picture. If I had followed my sketch, I would have brought that either up higher or down lower into thirds. You know about the
Yeah.
rule of thirds. How did that work? Did you?
Some of it came off.
Okay. Let's
I think my tree will be black.
If I take some like, this is a harder pastel. Do you mind if I,
No, I don't.
but just by,
Okay.
skimming over that, it's
Oh,
going to
go
soften
slow.
it
Got you.
and blend that purple in a little
Okay.
bit. That might be a little light. You might wanna go even in between. Yeah, and it takes, you're in the mountains here too, you're not in the ocean, so that's great. That works. I have to remember, I'm going for a color, and the tree, I thought I'm gonna go for a green, and the first green I reached for was a dark, warm green. So I need to remind myself that I'm doing cool. Oftentimes I'll have a sticky note up here and I'll write cool, mist, I'll make myself little notes off to the side to remind myself as I'm working on it, what my intention is. You can't see it up there, but I'll write it here. Okay, so I'm going to, I want the tree kind of in greens. I want it to be cool greens, which are also kind of warm blues, right? They kind of overlap each other. So I'm gonna draw in my tree. It's about the size of the house here.
I'm in class.
Nope. I'm gonna make the tree more important. I'm gonna bring it up higher. And I wanna think, it's been hit by storms, it goes this way, it's being blown. So all my strokes, I want to be that feeling of the tree being pushed, maybe some small branches on the other side. And these are the shadow parts of the branches. They're the under parts. And it's helping me to define where that tree is gonna go. So I'm thinking the branches reaching out. Some I'm seeing thin part of the branch. Some I'm seeing it's thicker. The lower branches will reach down toward the grass because they're heavy. I'm going to bring some shadow down in there to the lower part of the grass. I'll just wash that in because remember the light's coming from behind here somewhere. It's just, I'll blend it. I don't know why. I rarely blend, but I've been doing it more lately. And then pick up another slightly different blue-green for variety. Try to maintain what people call sky holes, but that would be light shining through branches. You don't want to make it a solid tree. You want to always have the sky sparkling through. I tend to step about 10 feet away if it's possible. I should come in on this. Good. Now I'm going to have to adjust. My other tripod goes all directions. It's wonderful. This is stiff. Some more dark green, just for variety. Hear that difference between? This is, I probably made this pastel, and it probably has beach sand in it.
That's great.
I've collected beach sand, and I added in some Viridian green to make this pastel. So you can see some of it falling off as I use it. See the dust falling down here? But it also is adding some tooth onto that paper, right? Because it's got grit in it. I have my little trowel here that's catching the dust. If I do that, I can put that in a little jar and reconstitute it later into another pastel stick, which I won't do now, but right now it's just keeping it from the floor so I don't step on it and track it around. It's too dark for over there. Now this is not super dark. If I held a black up against this, you can see that that green is not that dark. It's about on a value scale from 1 to 10, 10 being black. This would be maybe a 7. But because I'm considering that the whole picture is in mist, so it's softened light, I don't want high contrast. If I were going to make it a bright sunny day, I would want high contrast, which means from white to black all the way.
And if you're working on black paper, what color should the tree be?
Well, this is we just kind of get the shadows in, and we're going to come up with the colors. You've got the green in the grass quite a bit. I'm gonna start pulling highlights. So this is my darkest, Kathy, and then I'm gonna do a middle and then a light on here.
Okay. Keep going.
I don't like that this branch, and I didn't pay attention to that, but it hits the edge of that roof of that house. I want to make that house a little bigger. Needs a little more presence back there. Yeah. Oh, that looks cool from here. Now look at your color choices are really neat. By adding that blue, it makes those glasses really pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to show what I'm talking as a picture. The blue makes the glasses
So
pop.
I'm off-roading right now. This is my last time to be in
I love
studio,
it.
so I'm
I
like,
know.
oh, I gotta do
Play, play, play.
it. And I'm listening as we go.
I know. Hey, do what you want here. All right, now I'm gonna I love it when I do that when I'm dictating on my phone and it comes out gonna. I'm like, no. Enunciate. Hello. I think I need more tree. I think I need more tree.
More tree.
More tree, more bells. Cowbell, right?
Yeah, more cowbell.
More cowbell. My daughters always do joke gifts from obscure movie lines for each other. They come up with some really creative things. But one year for Christmas, they both gave each other a cowbell without knowing that the other
Oh
one
my
was doing
God, that's hysterical.
It's so funny. Another time, one daughter made for the other a Kramer's coffee table book. Do you remember on Seinfeld?
Oh.
And Kramer said, "Here's a coffee table book, and if you don't have a coffee table, the legs fold out and you have a coffee table."
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
So she made it for her, and that was her gift.
That's cool.
They're so creative. And then they say, "I'm not creative." Yes, you are.
So creative.
I'm gonna try to get rid of this branch that's touching right on that house. I don't like that. So I'm very carefully, and I keep shifting. I wipe up a little of the pastel, and then I shift the rag so I have a clean piece of rag to go in there. Oh, good. See, I just ignored what I was saying. I can also do that with a brush. Just an old bristle brush, one of my oil cleaning brushes. Try to keep your tools clean. I want more of an angle on this. Let's see if I can clean that up a little bit. Just try not to swish because it's going to carry that pastel wherever it goes. Clean it off, brush it down. I think that's going to be a little better. And then I'll bring some pastel over that. Now, as we're building up the layers here, remember that first layer we did an underpainting, we flattened it down, we washed it down, made the stain or the background cover, however we decided to do that. You don't have to do that, but it's one of the techniques. Now we're trying to keep our marks not as blended as we build up. Blend and blend less. So you have that flat layer at the beginning, kind of a flattened layer in the middle. The top layer of pastels is going to be like, you want the crystals to be not pushed down in, not flattened. I don't, why I came up with finding, it's hard to find photographs of microscopic, microscopic, is that the word I want? Yeah, microscopic photos.
Good job
of,
explaining
yeah.
that.
It was hard to search, and some are better than others. I think one is actually an electron microscope too, which I thought was really neat. Super cool. All right. So this, I think, I'll step back and look at it. Good. Your colors are in keeping with each other, right? They feel like they belong together and they're soft. And in some areas, Cap, try to mask some of the darks. You have like little branches going out, but not all.
Like,
Variety is the best thing.
cover them up like.
No, like a, let me see. Like if I take this, you've got a lot of your darks are kind of drawn in with the tip of the pastel,
Yeah.
where if you lay it down and get some masked
Oh, okay.
areas of dark.
Yeah, okay. I think it's hard to work with a small piece of paper.
You want to work bigger, right? Who was it said they had but a big piece of paper, and it's true. You're looser. It's more fun. Same with you, Catherine. Maybe some massing in some of the areas gets a little more dark, bluish green. Let's see what we've got.
Trouble finding
Hmm.
colors.
Your purple sticking up there, that's dark, and it's
Yeah,
that could work, I think.
and that, okay, so this was
This
the
is
one that
hard,
was
right? This is a
too
little,
dark. Yeah,
did you use this one?
I used something similar to it, but I don't
Yeah,
think it was this
maybe
one.
up in there.
So just, you're saying just kinda add some.
No, see, you're on the tip, so see, when
Okay.
you're on the tip, you get
and
lines.
Yeah,
If you lay it down,
and just do some more.
so you're thinking, okay, if you
So
think,
don't be afraid to add that in there, you're saying, like just go.
see how it's like a massive,
Yeah.
don't overdo it.
Okay,
but-
just here and there.
We tend to
Whoopsie.
overdo a good thing.
Whoop.
That's all right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe stay away from it there, more down,
More down
and
there.
your tree is sitting right on the edge of this grass. Let's come down into the, see how mine is
Okay.
kind of coming down in?
Yes.
That's all learning.
Sure about my trees.
Yeah, where's your like, now you've done nice highlights on these, but they're everywhere.
Yes.
So there's no indication. At this point, you might wanna decide, where is my light coming from? He's already kind of decided it.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
And this is the lightest part of the house, which means
Okay.
the light's coming from over here.
Yeah, so
Well, you
these,
can't do that.
okay,
Where is that? It
Yeah.
has to come from up here. So I might adjust this, that the lightest part, if there were the sun up here somewhere, right? The
Mhm.
light would go that way, it would hit the branches that
Okay.
are on this side. Here, it would hit the branches on this side and not so much the other.
yeah, okay.
Is that making sense? So it's
Yes,
the
thank you.
direction of the light. How's that working, Carol?
Well.
Can I just be?
Please,
All right, so
show me, yes, show me what you're,
So
Just-
there's
just
some
let
branches
it go.
coming toward you
okay,
as well, not just,
gotcha.
and these, some
Yeah.
are toward you and some are off to the, so a lot, you're thinking the profile, and you're thinking all the branches go this way,
Yes,
but there's
but they
also branches that come
coming
this
in.
way.
Yes. It makes sense in my head.
All right, now we're
Just don't
gonna
know how to
kind of,
do it.
I'm gonna bring in the light on mine. I'm wondering, I question this area, but it kind of looks like mist. And I have paint on my hand. I usually try to keep my pinky for my lightest colors. otherwise it gets smudgy.
He's up.
But I think that back there looks like a mist, so I'm gonna kind of soften it, leave it. And I'm in cool, so now we need some mid-tone cool greens, which is one of my least favorite colors in a painting. This. I don't know, in paintings I don't like this color.
Really?
I don't know why, but I think it would go in here, right?
Yeah.
It looks like it goes.
It's pretty.
So I hold it and it looks pretty good. It's not a lot of value difference. It's not a lot lighter than what's already there. Again, I have to think, as Debbie was dealing with, where is my light coming from? I'm going to put it behind the house and the tree here somewhere. So this lighter color is not going to be behind the tree because that's going to be shadow. If the light is coming from here, shadows are going to be down here. So I have to keep that in mind. Where is the light coming from? So it's going to catch on some of the branches that are on this side. And as I go up to the tip of the tree, at the bottom of the tree, the branches are catching the light on the top of the branches, where on the upper ones, it's coming up under, right? If the light's coming from here, then the light's going to come up and hit the underside of these branches. You're like, wait a minute.
Right.
These are things we don't think about.
No.
I'm gonna bring a little of this down into the grass just to unite my painting so it's not disjointed. And at this point, the grass and the tree are pretty related. You know, where does the tree stop down here and the grass start? Who cares? They kind of blend together. We don't see every single detail in life. We focus on certain details. If you look at me, sorry, but if you look right at me and don't move your eyes, what does everything else around in your periphery look like? It's out of focus. It's not distinct. Cameras will take a picture and it takes everything in detail. We don't, you know. So we often see things rather vignetted, like it's softer around here. Paint like that. And using all these things like the softness and the color and the value and the lines will help direct your viewers' gaze where you want them to see. You know, you can direct them. We have the control. All right, cool green, a little bit lighter. And irregular marks. Sometimes I'm up on the tip of the pastel as it gets smaller details out at the ends of the branches. And other times I'm using the side of the pastel to create a mass. And my little pastel is just dancing across the page. And I'm going to go one value lighter, clean my pastel before I put it back. This saves me so much time. I was telling people that last night. There are pastel artists, and I have Tara Will, Stephanie Clark. They're painting, and they're grabbing their pastel, and they just drop it down, and they pick up another, and they drop it down. And by the time you get done, they have a massive, what looks like gray pastels in their box. I don't even know how they know what color they're picking up. And every maybe week or so, they have to take an afternoon, take all the pastels out of their box, wipe them all off, clean them all off somehow, and rearrange them back in their box. If we do it as we go along, it's so much easier. For years, I had a carry box that did a lot like this. Like like Kathy's. You know, it just had all these little compartments, and I still use that as my backup box. I have extra pastels that when these colors get used up, I can do that. But I try to keep these in a good order, and I try to keep them clean as I use them. Saves me a lot of time.
This tree is just
I'm just gonna screw things.
Yeah.
No, I'm just like, well, you know,
Here,
you'll
I,
understand.
glass, no,
It's not
glass,
that great.
let me see if I can, I'm not gonna do a great one. Okay, so here's kind of the blue, the glass, and then you're gonna have, I'm gonna exaggerate, but really dark area. Sometimes blend it a little bit up into the color, like a shadow,
Yeah.
and I do this to stabilize my arm. So you get the middle tone.
Black and, yes.
It doesn't have to be black, it can be a dark blue, but what is gonna make it look like glass is that contrast. And not too much of the highlight, just in the right spots. And if you look at your picture, you can see those little sparkles.
Yeah.
Don't let this is gonna get
Oh, yeah,
overworked
wow.
pretty quick. Let's get up to the sky. You need
I
to-
mean, that's so cool.
It is
That's
cool.
awesome.
It is
That is
cool.
so
It's
I know.
beautiful.
It's
I
a
mean,
messy mess, but
no,
whatever.
it's not. It's beautiful.
Do you have a rag?
Thank you.
Your white's getting very dirty.
Yeah, my tree is
Can you just
dissolved.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what
I was
What
like
is-
grabbed a bunch
I,
of-
it's just
Yeah.
like, it's not, I'm losing it somehow.
About a big tree.
Bigger over there, cause
Like
it's more
in
of a
front
foreground, it
this
turned into the
one,
foreground.
yeah.
Okay. I'll
What if
work
you had a
on
big
that.
tree up there?
Yeah. Can we just erase what I've got?
I'm almost done with the tree. I don't have super highlights on the tree, but I'm not sure yet. I want to work with the sky, so that will help dictate where the tree's going next. I'm gonna kind of start with that color that I put in, that pink, but I'm not gonna do it in the center area where the light is. I'm gonna kind of stay away from that. The lightest light is gonna be here, so I'm gonna start with this kind of out a little bit. And it's gonna radiate, and it's gonna help me define the shape of this roof that I had to correct. Now my roof is clearer, it shows better by painting the negative space around the roof. I'm using the edge of the pastel and laying it flat. So I'm watching that front edge corner while I lay the edge down. Is this making sense? Let me find a pastel that would show that more clearly. I need a square pastel. Okay. So if I have like the edge of this glass that I want to go around, I watch the corner of the pastel, but I'm going to use this whole edge that comes down here to, so I'm keeping an eye there, but I'm also laying color all around it as well. So I don't end up with this line that I have to try to blend in somehow. It's already blended in by just one stroke. And then as I get up near the tree, I have to be a little more careful to be sure I don't ruin some of those nice branch strokes that I've created. But I need to get between them with some negative painting. God, I almost feel like I can paint this morning. I think last night threw me off so much because I took over this class in the afternoon. I thought they were intermediate class. Come to find out they knew nothing. I was telling Kim I had to totally revamp my approach midstream So some areas I'm making tiny little marks to catch the color between those branches. And then over here, I'm gonna just, nice big bold strokes. Now I want to find in my box a bluer color that's close in value. So here, I'm gonna go with this, I think, next. It's a little deeper. It's actually a little too much deeper. I'm gonna lighten that up a bit. Oh, maybe this one. Ah, that would be nice. See how it's a slightly different color, but now it's a little lighter. And I'm moving away from the light, so that might be too light. Let's see. No, I think that works pretty well. And that underpainting is still sparkling through, so I don't have to worry about covering all my paper because there's already stuff there. In order to see, I need to bring this in the negative space to the left side of this building. I'm gonna have to draw with my left hand to get in this where I want to. Now we don't draw, so we draw with our hands, yes, and this hand's more practiced at drawing and writing, but it's our brain that does the creating. So we need to rely on our brain. You know, it's not the hand. People are like, how can you do it with your other hand? You just do it. Yeah, sometimes I have no explanation.
Yeah,
Just
easier
just
said
do
than
it.
done, right?
Yeah.
Just do.
Just do it.
Isn't that what parents say to kids? Just do it. And of course, the best way to learn how to do it is
Just do it.
doing
Just
it.
do it.
Now you can see also that we are working with more detail. As we bring the painting along, we're becoming aware of more and more detail. So we start with the large areas, go to our mid-size shapes and stuff, and then to the details after. I need some of this pink, purpley pink down into the mist. So I'm lightly drawing that down over the grass and stuff.
I thought I picked up pink, but it was
What was it?
red.
Oh, wow. I wonder if you can just kind of blend it and then lay over color.
This paper's pretty good. It's from that
It
sample
is.
pack.
Do you know what it is?
Um,
It feels like a UR, but I'm not sure.
No, it's,
You can see on the back. Probably.
yeah, I wrote it down.
This is the Dakota sample pack?
Yeah, it's,
That's a great thing to have, huh?
yeah, it is. I think I'm gonna get more of it. This is La Carte.
Oh, La Carte. This is Sonata, so no liquids on this.
Oh, whoops, I already did, yeah.
Did you? And did it work okay?
After, that was like after the background, and then I did spray that on. And maybe that's why it's not blending. The background isn't blending.
It could be because the glue that Sennelier uses is not water
I'll
resistant.
have to make that note, no
Um,
liquid.
I am going to send out the chart, did I close that, of this chart.
Yeah, it's,
Were you here when I was talking about it earlier?
Oh.
So it tells all the different types of paper, and I highlighted myself whether it's good to use or not, because I need to be aware of liquids. So the yellow ones are definitely no. So there's, oh, that's Pastel card. We're looking for,
it was La Carte,
all right, let's, so little.
but yeah, that will be helpful because
Let me see. I thought the card was Sennelier.
It doesn't-
Pastel paper, that doesn't say.
that's all it says on the back is La Carte. But it's not blending like
like you'd like it to.
Yeah, and, yeah. But you can put a lot of layers on it, I'll say that, because I have been.
Yeah, it's Sennelier,
Is that okay?
and according to this chart, there's two Senneliers on here, the pastel card and the other one. Sennelier. Oh, this says Sennelier pastel paper, take small quantities of liquid. It's interesting, this chart does not say whether it's La Carte or not.
It's not, oh, there we go.
All right, this is pretty good. I'm gonna bring in some light. How are you doing? You're doing it, awesome. And you're using a cool yellow. Did you do that consciously?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yay.
Yes. As opposed to this, right? This is a warm yellow.
Yes.
This wouldn't work. So this is weird. This has a, whoops. I'm sorry, I just need a
Sunflowery yellow.
Yeah. School bus yellow. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry.
There you go. Yeah, everything's getting blended.
Thank you all for cleaning up too when we leave, because it's important that we leave things clean for the next. All right, before I do my finishing marks, I often step back and look at it and it's like, that pink is really only in the sky. I need to do something to keep the eye moving around. If you look, I've got this flow coming up from my left, kind of follows that curve around. I've got a little bit of a vignette curve in the sky here, brings it back around to keep the viewer's eye in the painting. This pink, there's nothing down here to help the eye jump and keep it together. So I need something about this value range in this color. So I go to my box and I go, this is why people end up with so many different types of pastels and stuff. Cool pink, cool, yeah, so cool pink is purple. I'm just gonna bring some down. See, it's not exactly the same color, but because it's in a similar family, it's gonna help pull that together a little bit. That's not the best, but just to give you an idea. Then I need to come back over with some darker green.
So if I have more purple in my house, what would you do to pull? Well, I guess I don't really have any pink in here, so would I go with the
Getting more.
blue?
Yeah, your purple house is standing out by itself. Mine was in relationship to the purple in my background.
Yeah.
This,
How do I?
I would do a scrape again,
Okay.
sorry,
No.
and then find a blue. You're in the warm family here, actually. This is kind of a tealish blue, something like your sky, but what do you think? Not a little more neutral than this, and maybe just a hint darker. So good luck with that, right? Well, that's one of my homemade ones. It's interesting that in there. Teal, did I say darker? A hint darker, but a hint grayer too. I wonder if this would work. Maybe that. You just have to break it. Not break it. People don't like to break pastels. Paper off. Whatever.
Better?
Yeah,
Getting better?
and I'm wondering if that, nope, that's too dark, isn't it? Do you see how just holding it
Yeah.
there? Still kind of too dark. It's lighter. But you could lighten the background. You know, this is not very light. You could bring that up even more.
Show me what you mean. Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
cover that. And then, oh, here,
Right.
then this, if your light's coming from behind the house, you can really make that glow even more, and that's gonna make that seem a little deeper.
Gotcha.
Is that,
I think, yes. Oh, sorry.
I just don't, it's hard to work on black paper for me.
where's the black paper?
Completely gone.
It's gone. We're gonna bring in some lights now,
Alright,
okay?
yeah, everything's getting blended together.
Well, stop blending now, no more blending.
Alright,
So just, when we go now, we're gonna make a mark and we're going to leave it alone.
okay.
Picking a color. I want something in my purple, I don't know what's called, yep. Kind of purplish. I don't want a soft one yet. See, I'm still trying to head for a medium hardness pastel. And I'm gonna come in a little closer to the tree as I'm bringing that sky glow in. And I'm making little tiny marks between the branches without ruining those nice marks that I made with the branches.
Are you using, you're putting the pink in there, I see.
Yeah, I went with pink. I don't know, it just seemed to jump out, looked like the right thing. And your little dots in between the branches, make them slightly different shapes, different sizes. In nature, always be varying the size and the shape. Your hand's getting really dirty, Kath, is that where you're heading? Oh, I thought you were going over to wash your hands.
Grays, it's hard to get a good gray, I think. Yeah, maybe I should wash them all. Contaminating them.
Now another step up. Softer and lighter. Oh, it's not, why is that not working? Huh, that looked softer and lighter and it is not lighter. Go figure. Doesn't this little piece look lighter than this other one?
Yeah.
It's not. I put it in here. It's not lighter. Huh. Oftentimes when I'm painting, I'll have a strip of pastel paper here so I can test it before I put it on my painting. Just off to the side. So yeah. All right, find this one.
Oops, I guess I want that.
Do you want another? Do you want to start fresh? Or are you waiting for it to?
I washed my hands and, that, barrier really worked good, everything came off.
Yeah, good, good. Did you put some more on then?
I did.
Yeah, good.
So, I'll just make, no more blending.
Okay, yep, just fresh marks here. I want a white, I'm gonna go, I hardly ever use white. I'm gonna put a white like right here. And I don't have to worry about it being a perfectly round sun because it's in the mist, and the mist distorts it. If I get some paint on there. What paper am I on? You are, okay. I don't like that.
I like your, that light.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Very pretty.
I'm just gonna pause it. I'm gonna add in some more lights on the tree a little bit. Plus. This look, you caught those highlights really nicely, especially down here. That's really
This
good.
is muddy as heck.
The dark is, but here it's very nice right in there.
Yeah.
You didn't overdo the sparkles. The sparkles and those you have to
Yeah.
like really at the end thing, and but
I know,
but-
you wanna
but-
do them
but
because
you're
they're
doing
fun.
I know they're fun.
That is so cool.
Right.
I don't really know what to do there.
Is that, does it have
I had,
on it? Perfect. All right, here. Catherine, what do you think? Where should she go next? Any suggestions?
I'd shadow that house.
shadow the house.
It's getting a little too light now.
Yeah.
It was too dark before, a little too light maybe.
Well, or just like one plane of it, so you got some angle. I don't know if
Gotcha.
it's the
Okay.
side or.
What about in this area? There's not much going on down here, is there?
No.
I mean, we want that as kind of a resting area, but it needs to have something going on.
Maybe a little bit of that yellow.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Down
thinking,
into
the
the-
yellow.
But not the light yellow,
No.
something in the yellow family, and maybe something a little in this blue family.
Ah.
Like a little deeper of the blue, a little deeper of the yellow, some shadows of grass. You can turn it on its side and do
Okay.
these, for maybe some vertical strokes.
Gotcha.
This is why if we paint with friends.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Nice, I like that better.
Yeah.
See this, the height of this tree now helps
Oh,
to kind
yeah.
of balance out the house.
Yeah.
She had a small tree before, and I like that larger one.
Yeah.
There's still something wrong with
You
that
still-
big tree.
All those clouds are
With this one?
beautiful.
Yeah.
There's-
From over here.
It's mostly branches, like we were talking before, the branches, the profile branches, and we have to think, there's branches coming this way too, and how do we express that?
Yeah.
Kind of little masses of color. The lightest side of your house is still that side that's not getting any light.
Yeah,
The light's coming from here.
right.
Let's just see if you soften that.
Okay.
Does it work though? I mean, does it look?
Yeah, that will help it.
I'd lighten the roof maybe, or you don't have to lighten the roof. Maybe if you just deepen that side a little bit,
Side, okay.
it'll just give it a little stronger three-dimensional.
Okay.
Oh, Kathy. I can't help myself.
I know.
So I'm gonna test it over here
Oh.
to see if it's kind of flat on a side. I wonder if you can just maybe twist it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, you don't even have to blend it really.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
Perfection, I'm sorry, is not interesting.
Yeah, and I don't like that, it's like army green at the bottom there, but.
Right, so you can bring in some of the blues or something, and, yeah, army green. Kinda like one
Yeah.
I'm coming back down into some of this area as well. Yes, ma'am.
How do you do how would I do a darker tone of this that's still cool? Circle,
You start getting into your beiges.
okay.
This is not darker, but this is more beige. You see how this is not as lemon yellow?
Yeah,
It's this color.
mm,
I'm warm. You can take the paper out there before. Here's a piece that has the paper on. Might be a better size. I don't know why they wrap them in paper. Is that a little deeper? It's not much deeper.
it's almost the same,
Yeah.
but then going anywhere like those are gonna be
Those are
warmer.
gonna be warmer.
Yeah,
Okay, this set doesn't have it. Let me see. A cool beige.
I mean, this is warm, isn't it?
It's a little warm. Do a little tiny touch of it. See how it compares.
Just on edge, like grass.
Works pretty well, I think. And now the highlights of the grass will be just catching just at the tips, right? It very rarely would go all the way down the stem of the grass. Here, like I just indicated that it's at the tips.
Okay.
It's blue. I tried to color where I want the center of my sun. It didn't work. I've wiped out just a tiny dot of it, and I'm just going to touch that with some alcohol. Right there. I'm going to wait for that to dry and try to throw in some pop of color. Actually, no color, just white.
So,
Yes.
if I went with something like this down in here, is that getting too dark?
I don't think so, because that's going to be a shadowed area.
No light in there, but.
Okay, you darkened the side of this and you darkened the roof too, didn't you?
A little bit.
Why? Because that's good. This moon is going to come down and hit that roof.
Yeah, I'll make some highlights on it.
Yeah, and then you got to highlight there. What is that? A window?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a little,
Okay.
little light in it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to
Okay,
keep
I'll
the
make
forms
this
really
lighter.
simple. Starting again?
Yes, I surrendered on that one.
What this is? Look, guys. Oh, I couldn't
Oh,
be-
nice.
It's lovely.
It's nice.
Yeah, colors are really
Very.
My only suggestion is this light blue. What if that was on that house?
Oh,
Just a couple, and the triangle, done.
okay, I can see the shape of the pastels that have a harder edge are come in handy.
Yep.
These are all I have is a round one.
Was it this one?
Yeah.
So again, if we had what I'm doing here is I'm just making a flat edge there.
Making an edge.
Can I?
Yeah.
All right, now that's too bright. But what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
It's got shape, yeah.
More in the.
So I'm just gonna block. Oh shoot! I hit it with a wet part. Oh, Kath, I'm gonna ruin your picture.
Don't worry, I already did it.
I think I put a little too much, so I'm just gonna soften that.
Yeah.
The dark spot on it is wet right now, but
That does look, yeah, that's better.
that white was kind of fighting with what
Yeah.
else was going on. I can't take a picture. Can you leave these out so I can get a picture at the end? Nice. What are you gonna do? We have,
I don't know, sometimes I do the same thing over again.
yeah. That's right. That's what we did in the last class, right? If you repeat the same image, you learn so much.
Yeah.
You already
Yeah.
have familiarity with the image, and by repeating it and changing things up, I had a student that she would repeat the image, but she did exactly the same thing every time. I'm like, you're not gonna change it if you don't change it, you
Yeah.
know? So, all right. Let's see if this is dry yet. Yeah, and that, see where I lifted that, and then now it's a nice bright white right in the middle. I had to play with it a little bit.
Thank you.
I'm gonna darken some aspects on my tree. Redefine the trunk a little bit. No. And deep purple, red, magenta right there.
when you spray alcohol on something, do you have to, can you blend it when it's wet or you wait?
No, you can blend it when it's wet.
Okay.
You're on UArt now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you can, have you tried blending it this way? Yeah. And it's a rougher paper.
Yeah, it's.
And you don't have a lot, you can put more pigment on there. More pastel,
Okay, yeah.
if you're going to do the alcohol and the blending.
Why not?
Sometimes if your colors aren't blending because there's not enough pigment.
Okay.
I need to. You have a lot of contrast in your background, and I know that's in your photo, but if you can
Sort of.
find a
It's
way
colored, doesn't it?
to set it back.
Okay. Oh,
Is this the
set
color of the
back.
paper?
No, that's just
The
I've
dark.
darkened it as. These were supposed to be windows and tanks back there.
Yes.
So that's sort of. I
But
didn't
as a
wanna define
painting,
them, right? Yeah.
it-
They
it's-
stand out too much.
Yeah. So if you could soften that somehow,
Just, do you think brush it with swipe it with a darker gray?
maybe a darker, but gray is kind of boring,
I know.
you know? If you can do it with some sort of color. You have the blue here.
Blue?
What if you did a blue gray? Do you have a blue gray? Something to soften and push those back a little bit. You can see that. Don't touch this or this. You're done.
Stop
Did I-
dorking. Stop
I'm
dorking.
dorking. Exactly.
What do you think about that? It's too blue?
I'd hold it up against there.
Yeah, okay. I picked one up and I held it there. The whole.
Am I seeing the side of your building getting light again?
No, I didn't touch the building. I lightened the roof. It's kind of, yeah, it's not sticking out. Needs some more contrast.
Well, I don't know, because I was wondering about a little less contrast, actually,
Oh,
to make it secondary so that this moon is really, are these lines, or did you use the side of the pastel?
I
to do-
used the side of the
Okay.
pastel. I don't know.
No, I'm just curious. You can also, remember we were looking at Alan Gust's painting, remember? Along the edge of her mountain, how she had that one,
Yeah, that.
you don't have to do it all across, but maybe just either a really sharp blue, not too much of a good thing, or a pink.
Uh-huh.
Kind of just
I like the
And
idea of the pink.
couple spots picking that out. I'm wondering if the house, I can't quite figure it.
Well, it may be partly the window. Like, should I just get rid of the window?
I'm not sure about the black chimney either.
Yeah.
Maybe that were some color of some sort. Just, I love your sky's doing really well. Wouldn't touch any
Yeah,
more.
I like yours, how you did your sun.
Well,
Mhm.
now what?
Let me look at it again.
You need to pop it.
Does it? How does it? It's brown. Brown is gonna bring it forward. We don't want brown, so yeah, a blue. I mean, I would just glaze, I'm sorry, just
Oh,
Catherine.
no, please, I'm gonna get
Just
another
a
one
real
of
light
these.
glaze and a real, okay, that's gonna bring it down, but I don't want to bring this down. Whoa, jeez, no, not that one. Right. Looking for suggestions or what?
Yeah, I didn't do the house yet.
The house is not done yet. It's just a generality. They're all caught up in there.
I threw some of the blue grass up a little higher on the right-hand side up into the tree. Just
Ah,
lines,
yes.
So,
lines.
yeah,
Gotcha.
just a little skid.
and maybe
Yes.
go ahead and carry some up into the branches in the
Some of that
shadow
blue?
areas, just a
Okay.
little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Now my son, I'm always in the person.
You know why you're
today.
blending?
Yeah, cause I got
Because you
over the,
Instead of
saying
using
happy
thin end,
Valentine's
show
Day.
me what I need to do.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too, buddy.
I want it, I
How
want
are
it the whole
you?
side,
Yeah,
but I'm going to really
Good.
press on this forward corner,
okay.
Oh, nice. Good.
but by
Good,
just,
good, good. Hey, I'm in class right now, so I will call you back. Okay? All right, love you.
and see, by doing that, it automatically does a
Oh,
blending.
yeah, it adds this
plan.
little,
A little
He's the
glow.
best kid on the planet.
Yay.
Okay, thank you.
Instead of ending up with just a line. Kathy, right off.
What?
Phew.
Yeah,
It's not an interesting shape,
oh, okay.
unless you're Rothko, and then it is. But
No, I'm not.
I would try to vary it a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
But maybe you can do that by bringing some of the sky down or some of the other things. We are at
Oh, no. No, we can't.
11:46.
Okay. That's not so bad.
Well, you're here this afternoon, right? So
Gotta work.